did.
Today on the show, the Mavs went on a 28-0 run against the Dubs. Yeah, we're previewing a good old-fashioned Western showdown with the top seed potentially on the line. Hollywood's Michael B. Jordan is stopping by. And why is Boban quoting Justin Bieber? Yeah, we'll explain. Keep it locked. This is The Jump. Welcome to The Jump. I'm Rachel Nichols alongside NBA champion. Yeah, he's right here in the studio with me. 8-time All-Star Vince Carter is coming to us from the A. We'll have reaction from the Celtics' shocking loss to a team that frankly isn't trying to win that often, OKC, as well coming up, though. But first, I do want to start out west. One of the more intriguing things about the NBA's regular season is there's enough time for the paths of certain teams to twist and turn and run into each other in ways no one could have expected. Certainly when the league tipped off back in December, we had no way of knowing that Clippers-Suns games would be particularly remarkable. And yet here we are in April with the two clubs having all kinds of grudges against each other and a game tonight in Phoenix that has both seeding and bragging rights on the line. Kawhi Leonard unlikely to play in this one. He is still nursing a sore foot. But Paul George appears ready to go, and he's the one with the personal stake. It was during a game back in January that Devin Booker called PG, quote, soft, among some other things I can't say on TV. Both players got technicals, but it didn't end there. The next time the teams met, PG again said he heard a lot of, quote, chirping from the Suns, part of a larger wave of disrespect that he said he's been facing since his uneven performance in the bubble last summer. Apparently, that disrespect has been so pervasive that even DeMarcus Cousins, who only just joined the team 3 weeks ago, has already seen enough to say that the rest of the league needs to, quote, stop the PG slander. And he is right. Paul has been on just an absolute fire tear for much of the past month, leading the Clips to win 11 of their past 13. Still, both Boogie and Paul have been around long enough to know the only real way to rewrite the book on the Clippers is for the team to perform better in the postseason, which brings us back to the whole seeding thing. I know it's very fashionable to say that where you end up in the playoff bracket just doesn't matter, and for some teams that's true. Hey, Michael Jordan's Bulls didn't always have the top seed, but they did have Michael Jordan. So, yeah, they were fine. Then again, sometimes seeding matters a lot. You know that mid-90s Knicks-Pacers series when Reggie scored 8 points in 9 seconds? What people don't always remember is that New York was the 3 seed that year, which meant the Knicks ran into Indiana way earlier in the bracket than they wanted to, and it cost them with an early playoff exit. There's potential for that same sort of scenario in the West this season. The Jazz have had a hold of the top seed for 85 straight days.
Wow.
But that grip is now being challenged by both the Suns, who are just a game back on Utah, and the Clippers, who are just a game back on Phoenix. Whichever of these 3 teams end up with the West top 2 seeds will have an advantage. Their first-round playoff matchups will be against 7 and 8 seeds, who will be a bit worn down from having to go through the play-in tournament. But whichever team finishes in that 3 spot, that team would have to face the 6th seed, which right now would be the Dallas Mavericks. That same Dallas Mavericks team that torched Steph Curry and the Warriors last night as Luka Doncic scored 39 points in 28 minutes. Now, I am not saying Dallas. I know. I'm not saying Dallas would be the favorite in any series they played, but I also wouldn't want to see Luka in the first round, especially if I was a Clippers team carrying the extra weight of atoning for last year. Winning in Phoenix tonight would go a long way toward helping LA move up, although, of course, that would mean the Suns moving down, and they, too, are very motivated to avoid that. Chris Paul has managed to wrestle Father Time to the ground these past 2 seasons, but he's turning 36 next week, and even, yes, the great aforementioned Michael Jordan did not win a title past the age of 35. All in all, the scene is set for a fantastic game tonight. It's the result of some twists and turns we never saw coming, but that just makes the end of the journey even more fun. And Vince, I want to go to you first. These 2 teams, which team needs the top seed in the West more, Suns or Clippers?
Clippers, hands down, it's the Clippers. For all of the things you just said, and I believe with everything that happened to them last year, all of the expectations, not playing well in the bubble, PG, having a rough bubble and playoffs in general, they need this. You laid it out perfectly. They want to get where the road is set to get to the Western Conference Finals. And we all want to see Clippers. We all want to see the Lakers and want to see that matchup, LeBron versus Kawhi, so on and so forth. So I think for them, This is a big game for the Clippers, regardless of who's in the lineup. Yes, you want Kawhi out there, but you look for the Clippers tonight to exploit as many opportunities as possible, because this is a big win if they can pull it off.
It's Vince. I love you, and I've loved you for a long time. But
you're from Phoenix, so I know where you're going. Go ahead.
You're wrong. You're wrong. This is why you're wrong. The Clippers don't need more pressure. They don't need the number one seed on them. That's pressure. We're talking about them avoiding playing this person or avoiding playing this person, but we want the number one seed because we want everyone to look at us. That is not what they want. What they want to do is they want to be playing the best version of basketball. And I'm not big. Look, you want a favorable matchup in the first round, right? Because you want to tee yourself up. But after that, if your goal is to win a championship, you need to be looking at every team in the league like, what's up? Let's go. Because that's what it is. There is no more avoiding. Is there a favorable matchup? There's no favorable matchups in the conference finals. There's no favorable matchups in the NBA finals. So, yes, you might want that in the first round. But even ultimately, if you get a monster in the first round and your goal is to win a championship, if you want to win a championship, it doesn't matter if you got to go Lakers, Suns, Milwaukee Bucks, and then Philly. That's not even possible.
I believe Vince is trying to get your attention, sir.
Whew. Listen, how do you get a favorable matchup?
I don't. At this point,
you got to win. You got to put yourself in position, like you said. That's all I'm saying. They want to win. You want to go into the playoffs playing your best basketball, like you're saying. So when that happens, that's going to put them where they need to be. Maybe it's not the top seed, but you want to play. My point was saying, I think it's important to them because of everything that has happened, and they want to go in feeling good and being in the best possible position where they can control what they can control. I think getting Rondo there is going to help them in the playoffs no matter where they are. You're correct on that. But what I'm saying is, why not go in there getting the best possible seed?
Well, look, the reason why is because if you're trying to eliminate pressure, and I know that's not what they're thinking, but also another thing that I don't want to hear, Paul George. I don't want to hear any more of this Paul George slander. I don't want. No. I don't care. Right? Because Paul George, you have the ability to be one of the great basketball players of this era. You have it all. And you go back and look at any great basketball player, they have been forced and hit with tons of criticism. My man Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady, Charles Barkley, Michael Jordan, LeBron, Kobe, all of these guys have faced an absurd amount of criticism. So I don't want to hear when you have all of the ability to be one of the great players of this generation that you're not happy with the criticism. That comes with it.
Well, he hasn't said that, by the way. Boogie Cousins said that. I think I have been super impressed with Paul this season. He has, first of all, taken all comers. He has been very open and honest about the fact, hey, I screwed up here. I could have said this better here. That's all I ever want from someone, right, is to acknowledge what the situation is in front of them, try to be better, and he has been better.
Amazing.
The Paul George revenge tour this year has been incredible. A little bit of a blip when he had the toe injury, but other than that, he's been fantastic. I know he is looking forward to this game tonight. I don't think you can engineer your whole path to the finals. I do think the first round matters. It gets you kind of into rhythm, gets you into that playoff routine, and if you're playing a team that was in the play-in tournament, you're probably in a better position to get off to that hot start. Maybe the best spot for the Lakers in the West is number 2, right? Because right now the Lakers are sitting in that 4-5 slot. So if the Clippers come out at number 2, and then they wouldn't face that Battle of LA if possibly the Lakers advance too until but again, then you get into the this and the that. And we saw Denver a couple years ago try to get cute. Were you on that team, Richard? Try to get cute with a path to the conference finals and ended up getting bounced. So.
No. When I was on the team, they lost. They
just lost all the time.
Yeah, they lost.
Okay.
They should have played me.
There we go. Let's move on then, friends. Let's move on.
I knew that was coming.
Luka. Yep, you saw a little bit of highlights from it before. It made Richard gasp. A little different than anticipated. The Mavs exploded on a 28-0 run in the middle of this game. It was over the course of nearly 10 minutes. It was in the first half, led to a 30-point rout. Warriors 10th in the West. Post-game, well, the guys tried to explain.
I'm not concerned about a 9-minute scoring drought. I'm concerned about defense. I'm concerned about a level of intensity and preparation and competitiveness. That's what was missing.
I obviously want to play better. I obviously want to be in a situation where you're, competitive and rising to the level of competition, and we didn't do it.
Tonight was kind of like a playoff game for Dallas. They lost last night. They know we were right on their heels.